In the frozen north, an old alliance had rekindled and had now tasted blood upon the frost water. But far from the icy waters, in a quiet village forgotten by the roads of war, 3 men met in secret, and what they spoke of would shape everything that followed. The village had no name worth remembering. It sat far from the trade routes, its small cluster of homes belonging to farmers who lived quietly beyond the roads of war. Yet on this day, on the village outskirts, men would meet in secret, whose decisions would ripple across the entire continent. Monchug Khan arrived first. His riders waited beyond the village, silent beneath the wind. Soon after, Sultan Unqid emerged from within the village. The 2 rulers regarded one another carefully.
You chose an interesting place to meet.
Unqid smiled faintly.
A place forgotten is often the safest place in the world.
They spoke of the war as it now stood. Battania and Vlandia were burning each other's cities. The Sturgians had aligned themselves with the Nords, and the Western Empire was finally moving its armies. Monchug looked at the Sultan.
I hear their reason for marching is unusual.
Unqid raised an eyebrow.
Oh?
A lord of the Western Empire ordered the murder of a woman and child beneath their own roof. And now their emperor rides for vengeance.
For a moment, Unqid simply stared at him. Then he laughed. The laughter echoed across the small village.
My friend, that story is not entirely correct.
Monchug narrowed his gaze.
Then enlighten me.
It was not one of their own who sanctioned those deaths.
He paused.
It was me.
The word settled heavily between them. Monchug studied the Sultan carefully.
You expect me to believe the Aserai Sultan ordered the murder of Imperial citizens in their own home?
Unqid shrugged.
Wars aren't always won with armies, Khan. They're won with moments. But the truth is far more interesting than rumor.
As if summoned by the words, the sound of metal rattled from inside the tent, and a lone figure emerged. Monchug turned and immediately recognized him. Crotor. Crotor looked over the Khan. Monchug's voice hardened.
You.
The rebel lord inclined his head slightly.
Khan.
Monchug looked toward Unqid.
You brought an Imperial rebel to this meeting?
Unqid gestured calmly.
Perhaps he should explain himself.
Crotor spoke without fear.
I served the Western Empire for years, long enough to see what it had become, an empire ruled by cowards.
Monchug raised an eyebrow.
You speak boldly for a man hunted by his own people.
Crotor smirked slightly.
I speak truth. Garios hides behind his throne, while others fight his wars. And his son, a man who calls himself a warrior, without ever earning the name.
Monchug leaned forward slightly.
I heard rumors of what happened in the capital.
Crotor nodded.
I challenged him in the throne room, before his own father. And when the duel was done, he was lying at my feet.
Silence filled the air.
There was no returning after that. So I gathered those who saw the Empire as I did. Warriors, mercenaries, men tired of weak rulers. We left the capital in the night. Town by town, our numbers grew, until we reached Seonon.
Monchug's voice was quiet.
And the city burned.
Crotor met his gaze.
Yes.
Monchug let the silence linger before asking the question that remained.
If you rebelled against your emperor, why are you standing here? Why meet with the Sultan of the Aserai?
Crotor cracked a crooked smile.
Because before Seonon, I made a small stop. 2 choirs.
Monchug turned to Unqid.
You spoke with him.
We discussed possibilities.
Monchug's eyes narrowed.
So it was you. You were the one behind the assassins.
Crotor laughed quietly.
Not at all. I sailed south alone to speak with a new friend. What he chose to do with certain information has nothing to do with me.
Unqid looked between the 2 men.
Everything he says is true.
Then he turned back to Monchug.
And now that you understand how the game began, would you like to hear how it ends?
Monchug remained silent. 2 men stood before him. One a sultan, the other a traitor to his own empire. Yet somehow they spoke like old allies, a partnership forged entirely beyond his sight. And if this meeting proved anything, it was that the war consuming Calradia had already grown far more complicated than any ruler had imagined. Alliances were shifting, enemies were speaking in shadows, and before the war was finished, no one could say who would still be alive to claim victory.